Well, when we did the conversion back in the early 90s, we were in trouble, and the Kaizen event approach converted our company to a one-piece flow process and made dramatic impact, as you can read in Lean Thinking, dramatic impact on our business. That was the good part of it. The bad part of it is it made us so wildly successful. We started growing like crazy, making good money, and so our strategy was all about how to leverage what we had learned across other businesses. So we acquired other businesses, grew geographically, and then about 7 or 8 years after we had sort of slowed down on the blitz activity, the gains stopped coming, and primarily because we had backslid on the improvements that we had made. And at the beginning, we thought the backsliding really came from a lack of an accountability system with our folks. Obviously, given that we've shown them how to do what they needed to do and they weren't doing it, it was because they weren't being held accountable for that. We went down that road for a while, and I brought some folks in to try to drive an accountability system with our folks, and that failed miserably. And that was really the start of the second, I'll call it the second phase of Lean. And that's really where we went and put a management system in place to maintain the gains that we made in the process. And we also got very focused on the detail of the work of how we build machinery, in our case, and enter orders and invoice and sell. And by focusing on that detail and putting the management process in place to maintain the gains, we've had another step change in performance, economy notwithstanding. And that's really been the story of what's happened, sort of a not so good story with now a story that I think we can, that's setting the company up to be much, much more valuable going forward. Well, it's hard to say what, based on my experience, which is at one company, but, I make a lot of visits to customers, and many of them are working to implement some of the Lean concepts, but most of them are trying to implement the tools. And they've seen management boards for visual management, or they've seen primarily 5S, and they're trying to implement those tools, or maybe standard work where they're implementing a sequence of work steps. And the primary thing that I see is people think it's about the tool, that if they have the boards up, if they have a standard work elements up in front of a work cell, or if their area is clean, that they've got Lean, or they've got the basic Toyota principles. And what I've really learned is that those are facilitators for how we work. Those are facilitators for how we work as a manager. Those are facilitators for how we solve problems. They're facilitators for how we see problems. They're facilitators for helping operators do their work. And so it's really about what we do every day and how we help out everybody in the company do what they do in a more productive way that actually adds value to our customers. That's the key to what we're trying to do with Lean. And the paper and the grease boards are very, very important work aids to what we do as managers.